Hi, I'm Hanshi Kaufman. I'm the author of the Book of Five Rings, the definitive interpretation of Musashi's Book of Five Rings. The book is now entering its 25th year of publication. So it was done in 1993. It was first published, sold over 1.8 million copies, about 18 languages all over the world. And there's got to be a reason for that. I'm going to be going through the entire Book of Five Rings. I'm going to be teaching it as lessons. If you have any questions, feel free to go to Hanshi.com, hit the contact button, ask me a question, or of course on the YouTube site in the comments section, any questions or any comments, I gladly welcome them. If you like what you're hearing and you like what I'm talking about, feel free to click on the subscribe button. Go next to it, there's a little bell, the notification button, which means every time I put up a new video, you'll be notified of it. And of course, if you click the like button, that would be appreciated. If you don't like it, click the not like button, but you know, at least let me know if you're so inclined to do so. The Book of Five Rings is Musashis Legacy. Musashi is known as the Sword Saint. Okay? He got that handle over a long period of time because he was considered to be the greatest swordsman, the greatest warrior, the greatest this, that, or the other thing that Japan had ever known, okay, at that particular time. He devoted his entire life to the sword, but he was also involved with other things. If you examine Musashi's work, you'll see he wrote poetry, he did art, played music, actually was a farmer for a particular period of time, was in the dregs of society, also worked for royalty. You know, a lot of daimyo hired him to teach, okay? So he lived a full life, okay? And at the age of 60, he decided to take a look around at himself and figure out, hey, what was this all about, you know? He had killed many people in battle. He even cites 60 life and death battles that he had won. He wanted to know himself as he started to examine himself. Is this great luck, inordinate skill, or just the inability of other people to understand what it was that they were doing with the sword? The sword is not a toy, as I don't have to explain that to you. You talk about 4-foot razor blade. Becoming proficient with it is where the Five Rings leads to philosophically. However, the lessons in the Five Rings can be applied to anything. Yes, including business, although it is not a business book. Okay? Quite simply, there's a significant difference between not getting a deal signed and having your head cut off, okay? But it can be applied to anything you're doing. What you have to understand about the Book of Five Rings, that it's not just something you can read and say, got it. It doesn't work that way, okay? You know, I've been practicing for over 60 years. I wrote the book close to 30 years ago. It was published 25 years ago. I still read it. I still get more out of it. And this is has enabled me to develop my skills in all of the disciplines I'm involved with. And you have to understand something. Mastery of something, a lot of people are under the impression that once you start something, to really master it, you have to do it all of your life. Well, I don't particularly agree with that, and I'm going to explain why as we go through the Book of Five Rings. You accept yourself from the beginning. I'm going to be a swordsman. I'm going to be a master swordsman. So now I accept myself at this immediate moment as a master swordsman, and from that point I hone my skills. This is a philosophical approach, and we're going to explain this in depth. Again, to reiterate, if you like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing, subscribe to my channel, click like, click the notification button. I do seriously suggest that you get a copy of the Book of Five Rings, my version of the Book of Five Rings. And the reason for that is you'll be able to follow my line of reasoning and philosophical thought much more easily than if you read another version of it. I'm not saying that other versions are not valid. I'm saying if you want to learn the lessons from me, then you have to have my text. And I'm not saying it because if you don't, you won't learn. You'll pick up what you want to pick up. And this is the beauty of the Book of Five Rings. This is the beauty of any form of strategy involved with any discipline that you're involved in. You want to learn what you're doing, you have to study it. You can't just say, hey, I read the book, yeah, I know what's happening, boom, let's go. It doesn't work that way. And I think once you attain a certain level of maturity, you'll understand that. And most of you do understand that. The lesson that we're working on now is just an introduction into the project. There will be many, I guess, videos and many lessons here. And it's very difficult for me to block it out and say, okay, this is a 12-session course. Doesn't work that way either for me, because as I'm explaining something to you, I may get into it to a degree that I have to really expand the explanation. Others will go quicker. Okay? But what I suggest you do as well, take a timesheet when you're watching the video and mark down what you want to review. So for example, whatever the time slot at this particular point in the video is, mark down the time. Hey, he's talking about the preface at this amount of time. So this will enable you to follow along with what you feel is important to you. The introduction to the book is pretty simple. Musashi talks about the fact that, again, he had hid himself away in a cave. There was a reason he hid himself away in a cave. Everybody in the land was looking for him. Everybody was coming. Don't forget, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have email, or IM, or cell phones. Hey, man, we saw him in the mountains in the south. No, we just saw him in the mountains in the north. No, he was at the seashore doing this, that, and the other thing. No, he was farming. So there were all kinds of imitators, because unless you actually knew him and had seen him, you didn't know what he looked like. But there were constantly hundreds of people looking for him to get revenge on him. Okay, don't forget what he did with on Ganjuru Island with Sasaki. He took him out with a wooden oar. Well, that put a lot of people into, shall we say, emotional, psychological distress. Hey, he hit him with a stick. Yeah, but he won. And he slew the enemy. And this is what you have to understand, how to define the enemy and how to develop your own tools in order for you to develop your discipline so that you can ascend to the highest level of perfection. And even though there is no such thing as perfection, or there is no such thing as total excellence, there is perfection. There is excellence. And I'm going to direct you into those areas. Okay? So if you like what I'm talking about, you know, fire away with your questions, your comments, click subscribe, click like, and share the video. And I think everybody's going to benefit from this. And I'm really looking forward to doing this with all the passion that I have, because, you know, this is my life. Hanshi Kaufman, whoopee, okay? This is my life. This is the work I've done. This is the work I continue to do. And I think you're going to get a great deal out of it. So thanks for watching this first installment. If you want to check anything out, Hanshi.com. Want to order the book? Hanshi.com/books. Any questions you have, any comments you have, I welcome them. Understand that even though I am the founder of Hebi Rubudo, which is the School of the Serpent, don't forget I came out of Shotokan over many years of practice, including my Iaido work, self-defense work. You can also see a complete listing of my books if you go to Hanshi.com. That's it for this first session. I look forward to continuing on with the lessons, and I trust you will get something of value out of the work I'm doing, the work I have done, and be able to apply it to the work you are doing, and so that you can arrive at the highest level of excellence that you can conceive of. Thank you. See you next time.